Good morning, good afternoon, everyone. This is Crystal Montague, Manager of Customer Experience here at ARC. And with me today, I have Joy Body from our Airline Help Desk. And the purpose of the webinar today is to provide a refresher for our online carrier reports. We're not going to go into details with all the reports. This is really a refresher, as this is one of the reasons why we get several calls into our help desk. And so we really wanted to provide everyone with what the reports are, the most frequently used reports, and how they may be utilized. Just a couple of administrative items. We are recording this webinar today, and it will be sent out to all registrants after the webinar. In addition to the recorded session, we are also going to send out the presentation, and all of you should have had a handout that was available to you as part of the registration process, but that handout will also be sent to you as well. And within that handout, you'll be able to see all the reports that are available in online carrier reports and the description for each report. And so with that, I am going to turn it over to Joy. Please feel free to ask questions as she goes through this refresher, and we will answer all questions at the end of the presentation. Thank you.
Thank you. Good morning, good afternoon, everyone. My goal for this webinar today is that you will all walk away with new knowledge that you can use to help you work more efficiently in the online carrier report. On the agenda today, I'll be reviewing the most commonly used reports and making sure that you have an understanding of the data within the report, including the voids, exceptions. I'm going to go over the cash disbursement, taking a look at the fees and shortages section. I'm going to talk about how your net remit is calculated. We'll look at the deduction report and also the financial distribution report. And along the way, I'll be giving you navigation tips. And then at the end, we'll have questions. On the screen is the list of online carrier reports that are available. There are 20 reports included in the suite of online carrier reports, or OCRs as we refer to them here at ARC. A little bit about the reports. There's no additional cost for access to the online carrier reports. They are one of your tools that are included in your participation package. The only time there is a fee associated with the reports is when you request a recreate, which is why it's important to have a process in place to archive the reports, since they are only available online for 90 days. As you can see on this chart, some of the reports have an asterisk after the distribution name, and those are the reports that are found under the credit report section. This document also details the frequency. It lets you know if the report is output on a cycle, weekly, monthly, bi-weekly, or if it's a random output. And it also provides the report ID, which you need to access the report. Some of the most frequently reports that we're going to discuss today are going to be the carrier reports. And within those carrier reports, we have cycle and weekly options for your cash and your credit sales. And then we also have the carrier credit sales report, the Center 9 or the ECCB, electronic credit card billing report. We have your disbursement advice and the itemization of carrier deductions. Accessing the online carrier reports. The reports are found in your toolbox in My ARC. Your administrator will provide you with access to the report. On this screen is the navigation button. From here is where you will print, export, find, and download the report. Keep in mind that every time you open the report, it's important that you download the entire report. The reports are defaulted to the first 20 pages, so if you do not download the entire report, you'll miss all of the data. And then it would result in you requesting a recreate. One tip about these buttons is the Seek and Find button under this yellow arrow. The Find button, using just the Control F works much faster, so that's a little tip to keep in mind. This Find button does work, but it tends to run slowly, and the Seek and Find works much quicker. The first report that I'm going to talk about today is the carrier sales report. This report is output on a cycle basis and also on a weekly basis. On this report, you have your sales, you have your sales summary, and you also have your void section. The void section will list the sales, refunds, and exchange transactions that were voided by the agency via the GDS or in their IER report. If a void has a V next to it, that's going to indicate that it was voided directly in the GDS. Instead of a V, if you find an M, that's going to indicate that it was manually voided in their IER report. In the event that there's a C, that means that it's a system canceled. So for the unresolved items and voids report is where you'll find your voids and your canceled items. And again, this is included in the carrier sales report and also as a separate report. Exceptions. The exceptions are also included in the carrier sales report. We highlight these exception transactions on the carrier sales summary just to let you know that these are transactions that you want to look at closely. You would usually have your auditors make sure that they're checking to make sure that your ticketing policies are being followed. The exceptions are reported daily. You will see an exception where there's a ticket sale with a commission percentage greater than 40% or the tax percentage is greater than 25%. Because those fields are modifiable in IER, we strongly urge the airlines to make sure that those are areas that they audit. You'll also see instances where a free ticket with a commission amount greater than $25 is listed here, or an even exchange with a commission amount greater than $25, or a cash refund that's greater than $5,000. So on this report, you'll see the transactions, the document numbers listed here, and then below that, the error code explanation. So the error code number 1 is for ticket sales with derived commission percent greater than 40% or derived tax percent greater than 25%. And most commonly, you'll see a 1 or a 3 in the error code. The disbursement advice. The disbursement advice is a key report. This is the report that's output on Thursdays that lets you know what your disbursement will be on Friday for your cash sales. On the disbursement advice, you have your gross total, which is your net remit, which is your sales plus your fares plus tax minus commission. Is going to be listed here as your gross amount. And then you have your deductions, which would be in the event of a reversal, there would be an amount listed in this section. In the amount of deduction, in the event of a deduction, it would be listed here, and your AST fees would be listed here. and then you will get your net disbursement. This is the amount that will be delivered to your bank account. Keep in mind that the reversals are for instances where the travel agent had a return draft and we reverse that payment from the airline. So there's a separate bulletin or notification that will provide the details on that, and the online carrier report for that would be the CARRREV report. So if you see a reversal amount here, you automatically know that you need to check the random report, the reversal report. For ARC deductions, that would be for any products that you subscribe to. You'll also receive a hard copy invoice in the mail that details those deductions. But here you'll just see the total amount that was deducted for all of your products, and then also legal fees. For ASP fees, those would be for your transaction fees and also your participation fees. Those would be listed here. And then you have your net disbursement. In the event that you have a shortage, there would be a negative in front of the net disbursement amount. And shortages occur when there's a negative disbursement. It could be as a result of cash refunds and also credit commissions on refund and credit, also credit memos and reversals. Those could all result in a shortage. The itemization of carrier deductions. This is a report, this is the monthly report that lets you know what you're being billed for, what your transaction fees are, how many transactions we processed for you, and then your net disbursement, your total net disbursement for the previous month. So in the first section, you're going to see the reference number and the period. The number of billable items would be the number of transactions that we processed for your carrier. The billable item rate would depend on your participation level. And in this example, we're showing a full participant where their rate is 20 cents per transaction for straight sales, and then your refunds and exchanges, there's an additional 20% that's going to be detailed in the second section. So in this instance, the total cost of billable items would be $326,008.40, and that would be for 1,630,042 transactions. And the percentage of documents processed by the carrier is 12.274%. And that's out of all of the airlines that we're processing for, your share would be the amount listed here. In this case, 12.274%. In the second section is where they're adding for additional costs. Special services and overhead costs is what it's listed as. So for refunds and exchanges, this airline has $138,794 at an additional 20 cents. So you're going to, the 138,794 transactions is going to be at a rate of $27,758.80. For non-e-ticket ATVs, which are obsolete today, but they're listed here, there's an amount for those. And then it gives you a total of the charge, and then the fixed participation fee. For this airline, for the full participant, is $8,000 a month. And then your total is listed here. And then the third section, you have your adjustments. And those are for additional products that you subscribe for that will be listed out for you in your mailed invoices. And at the bottom is the summary, your gross disbursements, what we subtracted for processing and special services, any adjustments, and your net disbursement. So in the event that you had a shortage here in this section, there'd be a negative amount in front of the net disbursement. And what happens there is our financial services team, they would go ahead and deduct this from your next sales week, from your next disbursement. And if there's any problems there, they will contact you directly and work out a plan for you to make a payment directly to them or some other payment arrangement. The financial distribution report. This report is used to provide support when you receive a check from ARC. The first thing you should do is log into this report, CARRSDS, to see if this applies to that check payment. And most of the time it does. So when an agent has been placed in default and had a reversal, they have a set time to recover from that, and if they do not, they are terminated. And once they're terminated, our financial recovery team goes through a process and uses the agency's bond or line of credit and is able to make a payment to the airlines for their losses. This report will detail the agency that's involved, the amount that's owed to all of the carriers, the amount that's owed to your airline, and the percentage of what is your share, the total amount that they were actually able to collect out of that amount owed to all carriers, and then your disbursement amount on a prorated basis in this case. So this is the report that you would use when you receive a check and you're not sure what to apply the check to. This would be the first tool that you'll use. Additional information, some of the report sources that are available for the online care reports are going to be found in the online care reports ID handout that Crystal's included in the in this presentation, and she's also going to email a copy of that out to you with the presentation. And then Section 8 of the Manual for Carriers gives you details on each of the reports, and it has screenshots, shows you what it looks like. And then, of course, you can always contact my team at the Airline Help Desk for general questions. And you can also request a personalized tutorial with your account manager or with the link in the education portal in my ARC. Okay, we're ready for questions and discussions.
Okay, as Joy mentioned, we are ready to take all questions that you may have. Right now, we don't have any in queue, so we will take a moment to see if there are any questions. If you want to go over more details with any of the reports, we can definitely do that. So we'll just go ahead and start looking at some of the questions, okay?
Okay.
So one of the questions we have is an example on when looking at the net disbursement, there's an NA. What exactly does NA mean?
So NA means not applied, and it would be in the event that the amount was not there, the cash was not there to cover your billing, so it wasn't applied. It results in a shortage, and it will be applied in your next disbursement.
Okay. Okay. I don't see any additional questions, but I'll still give it a couple more seconds to see if there are any questions. Joy, you explained it so well. There are no questions. Okay, so can the airline receive the reports via iNet account or through an FTP service, excuse me?
Yes, you can request the reports via your the same transmission as your CAT files. There are fees associated with it, and you would work with your account manager if you want to set up to receive the reports via transmission.
Okay. In regard to exception rules, can an airline request for specific rules to be included?
No, not today. The rules that are set are I think you're talking about in the carrier sales report, the exception rules. Those are set rules.
Thank you. Okay, as of now, I don't see any additional questions, so we will end the webinar at this time, but just want to let everyone know. So again, we are going to send this recorded webinar out to everyone that has registered for the webinar. We're also going to send the presentation as well as the handout, which has details on all the reports available behind online carrier reports. And if you get back and you go through the system, and if you do have additional questions, you can always call our help desk to ask your questions. You may also submit a request if you would like one-on-one training, so you can work with your account manager, or you can submit the customized training form on our online portal, and you'll be able to request for specific training. And so with that, I'm going to give everyone back 38 minutes of their day. I definitely want to thank you all for joining today, and if you have any questions, again, please feel free to reach me or Joy as well. Thank you, and have a wonderful rest of your day. Take care. Bye-bye.